This is the pre-council meeting for April 20th. Can't get this thing going. Mayor Tarani will
Start with
conduct the
roll call.
meeting.
Mayor Durrani.
Here.
Councilwoman Gavin.
Here.
Councilman Girl. Councilman Hug.
Here.
Councilman McFarland.
Here.
Councilman Morris.
Here.
Councilman Odekirk.
Here.
Councilwoman Quillman.
Here.
Councilman Turk.
Here.
Jim.
Going through tomorrow night's agenda, we've got a few proclamations. We've got a couple of position vacancies. One is in Bicentennial Park. We have the position of what's called Technical Director. It's a new job title. In essence, it's an employee who's been working 40 hours a week for us for the past 5 years. We were obligated to provide medical insurance under Obamacare this year, and at this point, we thought, in fairness to the employee, it was an appropriate time to call him a full-time employee, since in essence he has been for that long of a period. The other position is in Human Resources, creating the position. It's not a new position, but it's a position of HR generalist, and this is a position that somebody's within the department's been serving in that position, and so in essence we're giving them the job title for the range of responsibilities that they've been performing for the last couple of years. Then of course just payroll, and then we've got Class B liquor license at the Metro Bar and Grill.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. A public hearing was held on February 26, 2015 for the requested transfer of shares of Charcoal Pit Bar and Grill, Inc., doing business as Metro Bar and Grill at 2019 Essington Road. If approved, the new ownership percentage would be as follows: 60% to Mariana Colensis, 20% to Dino Colensis, 20% to Christina Colensis. No concerned citizens appeared at the hearing. There are no outstanding monies owed to the city. The police, fire, and building departments, as well as the Liquor Commission, recommend the transfer of shares. I have no idea who this guy is. He says he wanted to talk to you. So.
Hello, Council.
Yeah, how are you?
Just a small change in shares, nothing big, transferring to the family from myself, and I'm endeavoring into other endeavors, so please approve it.
Okay. Any questions? See you tomorrow night. Jim.
Under ordinances, what we have is the seating the City of Joliet's volume cap for the Assist Mortgage Credit Certificate Program. And in essence, every city is given a certain volume of tax-free bonds. And if you are not going to reach that cap in any given year, you can surrender it to another municipality. And if we want to get it back, we can get it back. But we have to do this before May 1st so that if others, need that, and someday we may need it as well. So it's out there for everybody to be shared. Item 192.
Mayor?
Yes, sure.
So Jim, just a quick question. So did we budget in 2015 the 14,000, I'm sorry, was it 14 million? How does this work?
It's nothing that we budget. It's just a cap that every municipality has based on residents, and it allows you to bond up to a certain amount. And if you aren't going to bond it, you don't want to let it go to waste if some other community wants to exceed what their bonding capacity is in any given year. So this allows another municipality to be able to use that cap. There's no financial effect to the city.
So I guess I'm reading the wrong thing here, because this is talking about mortgage assistance.
I'm going to defer to Alfredo to maybe provide a little more background on this.
Sorry, I don't have a little microphone. So every year, ever since I've been the Director of Neighborhood Services going back 7 or 8 years, we actually seed our volume cap, as the city manager was saying. Every municipality has one. And so we work with the Stern Brothers, and sometimes we work with the Will Kankakee Regional Development Authority to seed them that cap. So it gives them that power to bond on their own, no recourse to us, bond for those funds. And then they use those funds to offer home buyer assistance and down payment assistance, which also can be used for mortgage credit certificates for first-time homeowners. And so we actually pool these, and if you actually look in the ordinance, you'll actually see that it actually, the Stern Brothers we're seeding into like the city of Aurora. And they, along with other municipalities, pool those funds together, and they bond for those funds and then offer mortgage assistance. Now, the assist program traditionally, and if you look at the 2000 to maybe 2005, all kinds of transactions were being done in Joliet with this mortgage assistance. So we were definitely benefiting from that. I asked him this year, well, let's see we're going to do this again. I mean, whether we do it or not, he's still going to have his program. And he says, well, we haven't really had a lot of mortgage brokers take advantage of it in Joliet. Actually, he said there were 0. So he asked me to try to give him some names, some mortgage brokers that they could get working on again, and to sort of offer that back to our community. And that's what we're trying to do. Be able to have that assistance be available to our community as well. So hopefully, like in 2003 and 2004, there were all kinds of folks taking advantage of this. That we'd be able to do that in the next few years.
So, and that's what I kind of understood when I read this, but, so if I were to purchase a new home and I had not the best credit, is that what I'm understanding here? I'm able to get up to $2,000 per year. I'm just curious how this works.
Right, so there's a 3% that you get assistance on when you purchase it, and then the mortgage credits certificate is actually when you go to file your taxes.
Gotcha.
And so they call that, I guess in theory they sort of, and I think I included some of the material, that they sort of say, well, if you're paying $900 a month, if you get this mortgage credit certificate, actually you're paying $775 a month, because at the end of the year, when you do your taxes, you're going to get that back. And so they tell me it works. I don't know anybody who personally who have actually been able to look at their taxes. All we can do is provide you what somebody can take to their tax agent and get it done. But I can tell you that historically, Joliet residents, we used to have these, whenever we would do these, we'd actually include the map. And there was 40 to 80 people annually that were taking advantage of the assist program in our community. So we're hoping to get that going again.
Yeah, well, it looks like it's a great asset for the local residents or folks looking to purchase a home in Joliet.
Yep.
Your Honor, I have a question too. Alfredo, so basically, is the Assist Mortgage Credit Certificate Program, the 3%, does that help them with their down payment? Is that
The
what it is?
3%, well, and I'm sorry if we kind of mush it all together, but the assist program offers a 3%. The mortgage credit certificate, my understanding, it's like a
credit on
federal.
return.
Yeah, it's against your federal taxes.
Is that actually is it a low interest loan for their down payment, or is it actually a grant of some sort?
There is a grant, and I believe the interest rate is it may just be the conventional interest rate, but you get a 3% down.
Yeah.
And then the mortgage credit certificate is just something that your tax advisor knows how to do, because
Right.
you have that
Right.
because of where these funds were derived from.
So basically, it's a down payment that we're helping these folks get. I'm
Correct.
surprised we don't have more people taking advantage of it, really.
Right, and we used to, just have all kinds of theories of why. And the gentleman I'm working with now from Stern Brothers is basically saying, I need mortgage brokers in Joliet to take advantage of it. Otherwise, so I can show you that there's actually benefit being drawn from the community. And at this point, why are we doing this? Well, nobody else is asking us for it except him to be able to offer this. Like I said, in years past, we've offered it to the Will Kankakee Regional Development Authority when they thought they had industrial projects or other projects that they could move forward on, that they can pull funds together for Will Kankakee
Sure.
together. But they didn't ask us for it, and so we're going ahead with this.
I know that in the past, I don't know how it is now since the market, not what it was back in '03 and '04, you know, at the county, if we had additional volume cap, is what they call this, and another municipality wanted it or another builder developer needed it, we would sell it to them.
Yeah.
Is there a market? Obviously, this broker, he's obviously purchasing it. He wants us to cede it to him, and you're saying that there are some takers in Aurora. Have we looked into, is there a market for us to possibly sell this, you know, because it's going outside of our community?
Yeah. The only thing, obviously, maybe we need to look a little deeper into that. However, it's right before the deadline.
Got it.
Nobody else is asking. And, you know, when he couldn't provide me with, because I said, well, I'm not going to even write this council memo unless you're going to show me that people are using it in the community. He says, well, you know, that's fine. You know, I need to do a better job at you know, getting it out to your mortgage brokers and getting them more involved.
Well, I think maybe that's the problem, is
Yeah.
we're not getting our mortgage brokers involved like maybe we should be. Because, like Councilman McFarland, I'd like to see our community benefit from this instead of ceding it to Aurora.
Right,
in the future.
and we can do the outreach. And so just back to your question, at this year, I don't think there's a market to sell it. But I mean, and I don't ever recall us actually ever taking a fee for it.
Okay.
So I'd be interested to talk to those folks at the
Sure.
county.
Yeah.
Maybe they have a buyer that we've never tapped into.
Well, and again, that was back in when the economy was really cooking,
Yeah.
and you know, this volume cap was in demand.
Yes.
Type of thing. So, but just for future use, I think, for future reference, I think what we should do is make this known to our mortgage brokers as best we can. You know, so it's just another tool in their, you know, in their chest to use
Sure.
to help finance homes here in Joliet. So
Definitely,
Okay.
definitely.
Thanks.
Maybe, John, so what I heard here, there's assistance on the front end with the down payment, and then also when you actually file your taxes.
Every year.
So there's in the front, wow.
Oh, definitely.
That's what I heard you say, yeah. Okay. Not me, I remember.
Anybody else?
Yeah, one question. And this is only for purchases, and we can't put this towards refinances.
I don't believe so. It's just purchase.
I'm not sure.
Jim?
Next item on the agenda is an ordinance to declare Silver Cross scoreboard as surplus property. We had a request from Joliet Catholic Academy to donate the old scoreboard from Silver Cross Field, and they would remove it at their own cost and haul it away. They don't want the electronic portion, the upper portion that has all the visual. Underneath is just, you know, home and away, each inning, just the plain scoreboard. That portion will be integrated as part of the whole LED in the new scoreboard. We contacted Ace Metals, was our best value, and they said they'd give us $200, but we'd have to haul it over there. And then when the Legislative Land Use Committee reviewed this, Councilman McFarland wanted us as staff to check with all the other high schools, baseball teams in the area, and which we did, to make sure that they didn't have an interest in it as well. And upon contacting them all, none of them expressed interest in the scoreboard. The reason, and the one thing that we would ask them to do is, you know, sign a release that we provide no assurances or guarantees and a liability waiver. And the reason they're really doing it is that a person who knows the coach works for a company who's a subcontractor for Datronics. And so he knows none of the electronics from the slammers is going to go with this equipment, because they still need it to operate the scoreboards on the left and right field walls. Separate scoreboard or separate electronics will run the new scoreboard. So they've got to buy their own mounts. They've got to buy their own electronics to operate it, and they realize it's a $4,500 to $6,000 investment they're going to make, knowing there's no guarantees. But this gentleman apparently believes he's got enough education, technical skills to be able to get it up and operating.
A question here. So Jim, am I clear that they're willing to assume all the risk?
Yes.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I got a question. Jim, when we had this conversation with the salesman from Daktronics some months back, I suggested they plug it in and turn it on. He said it was too cold. Have we turned it on? Been beautiful out.
I don't know that if they ever turned it on.
Because what's disturbing to me, I have nothing against anybody looking to take this on a essentially a dollar donation, whether it's JCA or any other baseball or high school. I can distinctly remember the Daktronics guy telling us we can mitigate the cost of the $360,000 scoreboard by selling this entire apparatus to maybe a smaller market team. What happened to that idea?
Well, I contacted Daktronics, and they were not offering us any money at all for it. So I don't know what, I guess the salesman at the podium didn't represent his company. He didn't check with his higher-ups at that time he made that statement. Because when we contacted the company directly, they said they wouldn't give us anything for it.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
I got a question. Actually, I got a question. I left, Marty, I left you a message. It was later on in the day today, so you might not have received it. It was more of a procedural question from my perspective. I think it's great. I think it's great that we're able to help out a local high school that certainly needs a scoreboard. I was at their game a couple weeks ago, and they do not have a functioning scoreboard there. But my question is, Marty, I sit on the board of directors of Joliet Catholic Academy, and I guess my question to you is, am I able to vote on this tomorrow?
I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Jim?
Item 193 is a resolution for the Illinois Housing Development Authority Blight Reduction Program. This is in cooperation with the South Suburban Land Bank and Development Authority. It's a grant from IDA in the amount of $280,000 awarded to the city of Joliet for purchase and demolition of blighted property within a targeted area here in town.
Questions? Jim?
Item 194 is a declaration of vehicles as surplus so that we can get rid of them. And it's important to note that while some of these vehicles sat waiting, our fire department utilized them with the jaws of life for training and, pried them open and cut them open. So I don't think there's too many parts that can be used left on these vehicles.
Mayor.
Jim?
Hey, Jim, when I read the memo, it indicated these vehicles were staged at the Cass Street facility. Can we have staff continue cleaning up the Cedarwood Drive facility?
We have.
I know we
yeah.
took a stab at it, but it looks
Yeah.
like the cars are
Okay.
accumulating.
All right.
Thank you.
Question. Sure. Jim, and on this we sell for scrap. We call more than one company to get a price, correct?
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
We call more than one company to get a price on the sales for scrap.
Yes, yes.
How many did we call for this as an example?
I don't have the answer to that. Ken will check and we'll let you know tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Okay.
Jim?
All right, Council Memo 195 is sale of property to an adjacent property owner for delinquent tax auction. When we acquire these properties, we offer them to the adjacent owner who's interested in purchasing this vacant lot at 405 Parks for a purchase price of $250.
Questions?
Just one question out of curiosity. Does that cover what we paid for it at the delinquency?
I'm not sure that it does.
Wouldn't it make sense just to cover it? It can't be that much more.
Alfredo, do you know what the average cost for acquiring these lots are? Yeah, I was going to say $700, $800.
Is there a reason we sell it for 250 at a loss? I mean, 800 would clear
Well,
the book.
our goal is to get it back on the tax roll. As long as we own it, it's not being taxed for all of the jurisdictions. We offer it mainly because if we're incurring additional expenses by mowing the lawn and keeping the property clean, and the neighbors who want the property, we know that they're gonna, add it to their yard and take the maintenance expense off of us as well, and that's value to the city too.
So the neighbors that are willing to pay 250 said no to 800.
We typically go to them with,
Yes, isn't there?
yeah, we usually seek over $1,000. But, we try and negotiate with the adjacent owner what they can pay.
So
what
we
their
offered
interest is.
1,000.
We ask $1,000.
1,000. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Jim, so is these lots too small to build on?
Many times, yeah. If they are large enough to build on, typically we'll make a determination. Oftentimes the neighbors may say, hey, I want that lot, and if it's buildable, we may hold on to it and see if there's other interest. It's much more valuable as a buildable lot than $1,000. But typically they aren't, and that's why, otherwise they would be sold at tax auction. These are properties that nobody even wants to buy, because they're typically unbuildable.
No, okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Jim?
Memo 196 is resolution appropriating funds for Clay Street, Eastern Avenue roadway project. And item 197 is again appropriating MFT funds for John Street, Prairie Avenue roadway improvement project. Any questions? Item 198 is a resolution for an agreement with Impact Outdoors LLC for their digital signs. They're looking to expand the signs, and staff realized, and this went to a committee, but then we realized that originally when this came through, it went to the CTIS committee. So we're asking for you tomorrow night to table it for 2 weeks, and we'll take it up at the following meeting and send it to the CTIS committee meeting this Thursday. Then we have bids and contracts, which were reviewed by committee. Just a couple of things that I want to point out. The first item, number 200,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Really quick, I understand that there was a hiccup on this last item, but if you recall, like committee, when the individual came to present on it, there was a time constraint because they wanted to get moving on it because of the Taste of Joliet. Do you guys recall that in committee?
Yeah.
Specifically, they wanted to get rolling on the Joliet Airport Hobolt Road sign, and they wanted to get it going so they can start advertising the Taste of Joliet. Just for,
We've spoken to Impact Outdoors, and they're all right with a 2-week delay.
okay, I just want to let you guys know.
Just FYI, I was contacted, and we quickly got a meeting together for this Thursday at 8:30 a.m., so it would be on the next agenda for, in first week in May.
Okay.
Did that quickly.
Yeah.
Under awards of contracts, the first item on number 200, you'll recall that last week we asked you to postpone the purchase of radios for the fire department because we wanted to go to committee with some police department radio purchases, and then we forgot to add in the fire department radios. So tomorrow evening, we'll give you a revised motion for that, that purchases all the radio needs. The other item is number 7, memo 206. The department's recommending at this point in time to wait until fall on this, so they're recommending just to reject all of the bids at this point, and then we'll rebid the project in the fall. If there are no other questions, I've got a request for closed session, and then there's a couple of requests to address council.
Let's do new business, not for final action or recommendation. No. Abraham, is Abraham here?
I'd like to turn my time over to Pastor Purchase, if that's okay with everyone. Thank you.
Question,
Yeah.
if you don't mind. Didn't we change that order that anybody could speak, or the time changing over? Didn't we?
It never passed. It got tabled.
It got tabled, okay. I knew we discussed it, okay.
We did.
All right.
Good evening, everyone. So good to see you all here today and to speak to you in behalf of the community I represent. I'm here to ask that you would reconsider the taking over of the Evergreen project, because at this time, when I look through the city, the projects that the city has owned in the past has not been very successful when it's been minorities living there. The projects on the hill, the ones on the south end, they tend to have been ignored tremendously. And I'm not from the belief that wherever poor black people live, the best idea for them is to destroy the property and move them anywhere but in the city of Joliet. I'm asking that you would reconsider your thinking. I think the people in the city, the people around the city, have put a lot of attention on this issue. I believe they want everybody in the city to be treated with love and respect and a fairness that doesn't end you up in some godforsaken community in some other city. I know there's been a lot of talk about it. I know there's a lot of conversation on it. But what I'm asking the city, from the city council, is to reconsider. Many of the people that started this discussion years ago are no longer on the city council. And so that many of you, I don't know why they ever started this idea. I understand that the properties at one time were in really disarray and bad management. But as of right now, the property is probably managed as well as any other property in the city. The security in the property has been, I don't know if any other group or area has the security that this area has. So I'm here today to, in behalf of the people in Joliet, to ask you to reconsider the direction that you have started. And let's make sure that everybody in Joliet gets the respect as well as can stay in Joliet. That's what I'm looking for. God bless you. I appreciate all your great work.
Thank you. Robert, is Robert here? Ayufas? No?
Mayor, there are a few other people in the audience that requested to speak. Dottie McQueen.
Good evening. I would just like to take a few minutes to remark about the Joliet Multimodal Transportation Center. And here I have a grant that Joliet applied for back in 2010. I realize this is obsolete, but this is my starting point and Joliet's starting point. This was asking for money from the federal government for the Joliet train station's new station and bus station. In this grant, the Illinois Department of Transportation, which was actually the department who wrote this grant, said that we needed $42,011,000 for this new project. I don't know if you can see it, but this was what the original train station, multimodal transportation center was supposed to look like. It looks like something from the Jetson era. I mean, it's very futuristic. In here, it's described as, let's see, construction of transportation center, Great Hall and concourse. It sounded like we were building something for an airport.
Right.
Now I'm going to move on to what we're actually going to have. And this comes from a brochure that Joliet has, which shows a little building here, a somewhat smaller building than what's presented here. And this is the train station. This is the building for the bus station. This is quite different than what we were proposed in 2010. And as of this year, we were told back in March now that the price is going up to $46 million plus. So we're actually getting less for more money. Okay, and according to this, on the budget that's on your site, we have around $24 million on hand for all the projects to be built for this transportation center. And I understand that all the major projects still have to be built. I've driven down there, not much is going on, which hopefully will start soon. However, as I was perusing the internet, I went to the Illinois Department of Transportation, and they have a report that's called Fiscal Year 2015-2020 Proposed Multimodal Transportation Improvement Program. Right here, it says the estimated cost now is $51,711,000. Do we have the money for this? This is what I'm asking. And if we don't, where are we going to get it? The last time you talked about this, Councilman McFarland asked if we have a Plan B. We don't have a Plan B. Are we going to need to raise taxes again for something that we really don't need? We have a perfectly good train station, which has been closed to our commuters. If any of you have ever taken the train, and I have, I used to be a commuter. That's a perfectly good train station. It's locked now. These people have to stand in chintzy little shelters up on the platform in wind, rain, snow, heat, cold, when they have a perfectly good station. Supposedly, according to this brochure, it's all going to be finished in 2016, next year in June. We still don't have anything happening at the recycling center where Ace Metal is concerned. Do we know how much the remediation is going to cost when you test the soil out there? I can't imagine that that soil is anything but mainly very toxic, and I can't imagine how much it's going to cost the city. So my question is, do we have the funds for this? And when will this price stop going up? Because I have a feeling the taxpayers are the ones who are going to lose here. Thank you.
Thank you. Who else signed up?
Bruce McQueen.
Okay. I'm sorry, ma'am, I didn't get your name.
Dottie McQueen.
Thank you.
Mayor, I'd just like to add, just a follow-up question. Have we heard anything from the state of Illinois on that MOU that was discussed publicly?
Yes, we have met with IDOT recently. We're on target with the budget, with the program. The bids will be open June 1st for the new platform and the train station. And then August 1st will be the opening of the bids for the bus station.
So the state is going to fulfill their original obligation?
Oh, yes, yeah, $30
Will
million.
that MOU come back to the council for approval?
I'm not sure we're going to end up with an MOU, but I will, if there are any changes to this budget, I'll make sure I come back to council and share that with you and the public.
Okay. And then the individual we voted on that's supposed to help facilitate the remaining of this project?
He got a job before he even started here.
So we're not filling that position?
Not at this time.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good evening. Bruce McQueen, Joliet, Illinois. I wanted to thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight and thank Mayor Girardi for his years of service, and congratulations to Councilman, future mayor-elect. I wish you both the best. And to the new council, congratulations. My topic tonight is going to touch on maybe things that you don't really think of sometimes. I wanted to say obviously, but that would be prejudicial. It's on honesty and integrity. 2010, approximately, I'm not quite sure the date, but we started that year desperate financial situations, and through the spring, it got worse and worse, and it led to the summer where we had to pass some tax increases. Now, I understand the city has to have taxes, but we passed those tax increases with great efficiency because we had a deadline. And we got the deadline in, and we had a shortage of $17 million, if I remember. Now, after we got the taxes in and they were approved and we couldn't change them, we found the $17 million. I think it was said a bookkeeping error. Some of you are in private business. I don't know how that would work in private business. You make your own judgment on that. Now, I'm not saying there was any hanky-panky or anything like that, but I'm talking about honesty to the public. Was there an apology? I don't remember hearing it. Maybe there was. Now, there was an effort to try to undo it, but it didn't go far because there wasn't enough will on the part of the council. A brief history, the $17 million was to the state, from the citizens to Joliet. And I would call that somewhat illegal in how it was presented and how it was collected. I would call that ill-gotten means. Let's bait and switch, whatever you want to say. You got money under false pretenses, and it has not been returned. Now, I understand it's not a lot of money, but somehow it's added up to a surplus of $40 million, thereabouts, okay? I'm not going to split hairs over that, but you have a surplus of money now. Some of that came from this money. It should have been returned to the public. I don't know how many meters there are in Joliet. I have no idea how many gas meters and electric meters, but they're all generating dollars and dollars and dollars every month, and it's added up. Now, the problem has been solved. In one sense, you've gotten your money. The question is, what are you going to do with the money? You just keep getting it, or are you going to give it back? You have a windfall. Are we going to rescind the taxes? Do we apologize for the taxes? No. Do we have a budget reserve? Yes. Now, what are we going to do with that reserve? How are we going to spend it? Is it a reserve, like it's money we're going to hold on to for emergency? Or is it money that's already been allocated for future quote-unquote emergencies? I don't know. But I'm concerned that it's already being planned for benefits, salaries, and so forth in the future year or two. And we're going to, again, be looking for money. It was the train station, and what was the latest thing in the paper? Will County Courthouse, that this county wants you to be on hook for $26 million? Where's all this going to come from? Are you going to keep going after money all the time? What to do? Be honest with the taxpayers. Maybe it'll work. I know the council and other situations, school districts and so forth, will say we can't get the money. We need money, help getting the money. We can't get it, we've got to keep taking it because they'll never pass a referendum. Maybe because people are so tired of the lack of responsibility by governments that they don't trust them. Simple. Maybe if they trusted you, they would give you the referendum. Ask for the money for what it's for. Don't put it over here and take it back over here. Say what it's going to be. A shortfall is not a bookkeeping error. I wish I had a shortfall of that magnitude in my own checking account. I don't know about you guys. But run a city like a business. Get rid of your surpluses. It sounds like you're trying to do that. I don't know how many surplus properties you have in Joliet, but get rid of them. Unless you have a use for them, sell them. Give them away. Get rid of the property, the inventory. Your cars, you're cutting them up. What else do you have? I don't know what your inventories are. But take a look at it. See what you can do. Stop doing things the way you've been doing it. Work on some stronger ideas. City councils over the years do not have a good record of doing what they're supposed to. Do what you're supposed to is basic. Quite frankly, you don't know how to run a train station or plan for it. I don't know who sold you this train station in the first place. Why not build from the train station an overhead thing? It goes over the tracks and down the other side. Escalators, 2 elevators. I've heard an idea that it's not a strong enough ground. The ground is strong enough to put it in other places over interstates. They use caissons, pilings to make it work. I can't believe that would be the answer. Rialto, ballpark. Revitalization of downtown's been going on since I was a kid, and that's getting to be a long time ago. They've been revitalizing it. It's a government center, folks. Where are the business? It's all governments, government related. Lawyers, bankers, government agencies. And don't get snookered into other deals with the county. Do help businesses created, come to the town. Get your lower taxes, get the organizations that help the city run better, with the city manager, the city mayor. Let the city do what it has to do. Don't take on challenges that you shouldn't be doing, even though people tell you they should be doing. Do the basics and do them well. And do them with honesty and integrity. If you say you're going to do something, don't have a change of mind 2 weeks later. You have a responsibility to do that. Thank you.
Is there anybody else? No. You need an executive session, you said?
Yes. Yes, please.
So moved.
Second.
Someone second it?
Pardon me?
Did someone second?
Yeah.
Motion and seconded to go into closed session to discuss personnel, collective bargaining, land acquisition or conveyance, pending or threatened litigation, after which meeting will be adjourned. Councilwoman Gavin?
Aye.
Councilman Girl?
Aye.
Councilman Huggs?
Aye.
Councilman McFarland?
Aye.
Councilman Morris?
Aye.
Councilman Otterkirk?
Aye.
Councilwoman Coleman?
Aye.
Councilman Turk?
Aye.
Mayor Durrani?
Aye.